that Kunga picked up as well. That hero's been banned down in a couple of these matches. Talked about how useful he is as a utility hero mid-game as well. He does a little bit better against heroes with less armor, especially melee ones. One of those heroes, of course, is, pardon me, Ember
10
Spirit.
seconds
So
remaining.
Ember Spirit having pretty low base armor means it changes to Tidebringer,
5
and the
seconds
cleave
remaining.
damage that it does now does quite a bit more to him than it used to, during the laning phases at least. So if you choose to match up the Kunkka against wherever Ember Spirit is going, then you're going to be in a pretty good place. But we have seen Ember Spirit play in the safe lane a couple of the games tonight, so that's an option that Invictus Gaming has as well if they want to try and avoid the mid matchup against the Kunkka. And they do have last pick as well, so they have some room for what they want to do.
What's the Morphling combo that was so deadly?
The Morphling combo that was so deadly.
Was it Gyro? Gyro
There
Morph?
was, it was a, yeah, you would play against the Gyrocopter with the Morphling. And that happened because it was the Gyro IO meta. So you see the Gyro IO come out, you pick Morphling into it, then you have that super dangerous flak cannon because you can just turn into the Gyrocopter, activate flak cannon, turn back, still have the buff on your hero, then go absolutely crazy. You're basically better Gyrocopter at that point, more stats.
Vici Gaming.
I also love when you play as Rubik, you steal the attribute shift, and then you just take away
Sit
all your
full strength,
agi. Yeah, sit full strength.
which is good to realize you have no armor and your EHP is actually lower than it was before. Depending, though, there's a very fine line that if your allies have some
5
armor or
seconds
items in your
remaining.
decent place. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Also, being able to throw a couple right clicks in here and there prior to going super late game is actually pretty useful on Rubik, and you can't do that with zero agility. Things get pretty bad pretty quickly. Anyways, last two picks here. They're going through a lot of the reserve time on VC Gaming. Uh, Not really sure who their last guy is. They can play this Kunkka both as a position 2 or 3, or probably actually the Morphling as well. We've seen this played mid a little bit too, depending on what his matchup is. So maybe a flex pick here is their 5th as well. But I'm not really sure what rounds out their draft. They have a pretty good draft already.
Vici Gaming's
Maybe
turn
something
to
for a
pick.
little bit of high ground defense.
Yeah, we have seen some high ground defending, but it hasn't exactly been like having that ability isn't the end all be all of your draft.
That is true, but we've seen some of these teams struggle to play from
10
behind with their draft,
seconds
so
remaining.
you obviously need something that can get you out of a bad
5
spot.
seconds
I
remaining.
mean, they have decent tools already. Kunkka, there's Boat, and there's X and Torrent. Decent tools. Morphling always does a lot of damage as long as he gets his first couple of items. But there you go. It's a hero that does damage without any items. Tiny. And we've seen some pretty amazing performances out of him in games today. Wait, there's that one performance with who was playing the Invoker that game? It was Tiny Invoker,
It
just
was D
amazing.
Stones and PYW.
Right,
10
just
seconds
amazing.
remaining.
Toss avalanche combination.
Templar
Sunstrike's
Assassin now
there,
select
ready
your
to go every
heroes.
time Tiny needed it. Templar Assassin is the last pick, which I really like here. I think that they don't have that many tools to deal with the Templar Assassin. It goes pretty well against the pace of the game that VC want to play. If they can get Desolator up a similar timing that we saw last time Templar Assassin had it, then they're in a really good place. Your timing with Invictus Gaming is a little bit earlier. I feel like But if you let this game go too late, I feel like VC has an advantage.
I feel maybe Vici have a ability advantage as well, just based on the ability of how well they play.
I'd agree with that. I mean, we saw that in the last game. I think we valued Invictus Gaming's draft a little bit more, but VC ended up coming through with just like very slow, methodical gameplay. Like obviously planning every step. They Invictus Gaming let them have a little bit of farm, and they took complete advantage of that as they went through the game, just knowing exactly what timings they were and what items they needed to be able to win.
IG Vici. Swap that overlay before I get in trouble again. We'll be underway with game 2, and then next up we've got eHome against Look for Smile. Not sure if you guys know who Look for Smile are, but they're the best team in the group so far. You know, contrary to popular belief, it is not Vici, and it ain't serious. Or eHome.
First team with a 2-0, though. It's looking like we might see a clean 2-0 sweep from VC this game, huh?
Definitely some potential there. We'll have to see how they approach this.
Right now, I think for the first time in a while, I am going to favor the draft of VC. Again, I think Invictus Gaming have a decent shot if they manage to pull this off a little bit earlier, but I think VC has the ability to draw this out. And again, they showed last game that even with some less desirable hero picks, that they can win most of their lanes and out-farm the enemy team. But Invictus Gaming might learn from their mistake that they made last game and prevent some of this farm.
It did seem as though they allowed a little bit more than they should have to kind of go on. But it comes down to whether or not they're able to sustain against this Vici lineup, and not just sustain, but overcome what, you know, Vici do so well.
Which is just like amazing teamwork. Well, you'd know better than I would. Last couple of games, or what I've seen from them tonight, is just amazing teamwork, skilled individual players, and incredible patience.
Yeah, just being able to find your spots, being able to make sure you're not giving up any unnecessary mistakes. So
Absolutely, I feel like that is what separates like even pub stars from like top tier players, is we're not making these unnecessary mistakes and waiting for that key moment to strike. I always tell people the true judge of a team isn't like how the individual skilled players are, like how the team acts as soon as the laning phase ends, or how they adapt during the laning phase will show you a lot more about a team and their potential to go somewhere. And BC is a team that does it amazing. Shout out to Nahaz, who called Liquid one of the best early game teams in Dota.
DY taking a lot of damage, might be first blood. He needs to be careful.
Fortunately, he is an ogre, Magi, so one of the bulkiest heroes in the game. Couldn't quite manage to run him down.
And they're just continuing to put pressure here on both the ogre as well as the morphling. They'll throw the hoof stomp and, well, nothing really more. DY comes over to potentially distract them for a second. So throw an ignite over at Kaka as well as JT, but at the end of the day, it's just harassment from both sides, and Ogre doing a good job harassing back and staying alive.
This guy's pretty fierce. I mean, he almost got blocked by his own creeps and killed just a minute ago, and he continues to run at them. And, let's
Become a
talk.
bit of an issue.
Let's move over to the mid lane. Talk about that matchup for a moment. Templar Assassin versus Kanka. Though it's a little bit less exciting than what's going on there in the bottom lane. It's pretty even in CS wise. I feel like as the lane progresses a little bit, Templar Assassins could have an easier time harassing Kunkka down. Just do those extra points in refraction. Pretty easy to get some of these spills off on them. Meanwhile, the refractions can do a pretty good job of blocking a lot of this harass that comes out from Tidebringer.
Emo trying to hold his own at the moment. They're both CSing quite well. Nothing really missed from either of them. As both sitting at 17 last hits. And just looking for the torrent so he could get that Tidebringer to come through on Emo. Those instances of damage from the torrent just makes it easy to land the Tidebringer.
Absolutely. So every time he manages to get that off, it's a win for him, especially when it's on a refraction. We can actually leave that at, he's probably going to leave that at level 1 just for the sake of burning refraction. Not worried about anything else.
And Eurus dropping from about half health, all of a sudden he's just dead. Meanwhile, mid, they'll at least get a return blow here on Emo, but Paparazzi dies safely and they lose the TA mid and things even up a touch.
I mean, I'd take that trade. Again, I was talking about in the last TA game that we were watching how important it is to snowball on the Templar Assassin. If you can slow that down at all, then you're in a lot better place overall. While that hero is super strong, if he snowballs, if you manage to shut this hero down and stop it from its recovery, you can basically win the game just off of that. So, any kills you can get early on Templar Assassin are super important.
And that might be able to continue to go that way, especially if they're able to bring the Shadow Shaman over, or if the TA stays in the lane. Because at the moment, TA, level 5 out in the jungle, and we see a lot of this from mids.
We are, and I really like what these. I really like what they're doing with the stacks every game we see a Templar Assassin, because well, I call it stack tax, where the support gets a small portion of the gold. It doesn't really take away from the mid, so tax doesn't really make that much sense, but still. Back to the point is, the extra gold you get as support really makes it worth stacking. For a hero like Templar Assassin, who it's essentially the same speed to clear a stack camp it is as a regular camp, it becomes so worth it to do this, because then you can get something like a 4-staff or whatnot on your support hero, help your Templar Assassin even more. It's awesome returns for stacking camps for TA.
It's always nice to have that extra influx of gold.
Yep.
It's what some of these position 5s and pubs are just doing wrong.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Not stacking for your one position. Stun again coming out onto Paparazzi. They'll have the hoof stomp to follow it up. Double edge and one more shot. Dead again. Morphling goes down. Meanwhile, top searing chains onto Yang, but they've got the avalanche toss in the boat and they'll take out GGG.
Dead before the boat even landed. Double damage with the Kunkka's pretty terrifying, along with that toss combo from the Tiny. So down goes the Ember. That's a pretty important kill as well. He's actually a little bit ahead of the Emperor Spirit in CS already on the Tiny. He's looking to do a little bit of damage to this tower as well. I really like what they're doing here with like rotating the Kunkka up into the top lane and go into the jungle while letting the Shadow Shaman farm mid. I was talking about this in the game earlier. These days, one of the best plays you can make is making sure all your teammates hit certain power spikes at the best moment possible. It's not just about making sure your carry, your mid is like the strongest possible person. You want a full team that's powerful. So even though you slow down your own farm slightly by heading jungle or something like that with the Kunkka, the benefit that you get putting them there while the Shadow Shaman farms mid for a little while is a net way positive for your team.
Yeah, as long as PYW doesn't die or anything, getting these last hits, getting that extra farm, especially the solo experience, where you have that early level 6 is quite nice. And if you can get the 6 before you need the Tome of Knowledge, then life would be great.
Even better in that scenario, yeah. Bottom lane.
Boat coming through and morphed into the Centaur. He'll have the hoof stomp and the kill. A little bit of revenge there for Paparazzi.
Nice little chunk of gold there, about a 500 net worth swing just for that one kill. But they are down here pretty quickly in response to this rotation on the side of Invictus Gaming. Spam out that wave with Keeper of the Light Blast and Lion already there. So, can't get anything more from that, unfortunately. That's something they've been pretty good so far this game on the side of Invictus. Every time they rotate to try and find a kill on the heroes on Vici, rotate to get a kill on the heroes on Invictus, they are there with other people to stop them getting extra damage on the tower or stop a push from happening on top of things. So Vici haven't been able to play the map like they have some of these other games.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Stacks happening here. Ogre gonna find an observer ward, so he'll take that out. DY clearing out some of this IG vision. Meanwhile, top Tiny doing a great job and happy with his performance so far, sitting third on the net worth.
Oh yeah, I mean top lane, just the extra base damage he has over other heroes is something else I was talking about earlier, echoing some of my former thoughts. So usually he'll win CS wars even if he gets harassed a lot in the laning phase.
And they're looking to potentially go here on the Centaur. Stun will be thrown. They've also got the Hex Hoof Stomp on 3. That'll allow for the Stampede to get the escape. So no kills there.
Yeah, with that expended, they do have to be a little bit more careful though. But they do have the advantage of vision here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, the remnant.
They might want to try and trick him back, because once they get him back, they've got the X. But they don't land the Torrent. Some interesting timings.
Well, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, they don't manage to get that. They do have is the skill over on mid.
Or do they? They kind of just gave up on it, and now Kaka turns it on to DY. Doesn't have level 6 yet, and he'll toss the card onto him, and I believe Kaka, throwing that finger, immediately gets a kill for it.
Yeah, they got a little bit cheeky there, decided to stay around to complete advantage of that, just throwing another toss onto him before he could heal quite enough HP up with the salve. I think that just ended up bringing him under the death threshold. A little bit unfortunate. But even still, with this like aggressive tower taking lineup at 11 minutes in the game, they haven't managed to take the first tower yet on VC Gaming. I think this is starting to get to them.
Radiant are scanning.
Kaka top trying to defend as best he can. Meanwhile, X on the GGG. They'll bring over the Ogre as well as the Shadow Shaman looking for an opportunity, but I think they caught a glimpse of each other and backed off.
Structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So TA sitting top of the net worth by quite a margin, and this is due to the fact that Coddle had been non-stop stacking.
Yeah, I mean,
look for Yang potentially. They throw the ult down. It only hits the Shadow Shaman. Meanwhile, JT dead to Paparazzi. Avalanche comes down on Akaka. They'll run PYW down and get the kill there, as well as throw the stun out onto the Tiny, trying to take away his mana, but 4 heroes here, and they can't get a +1.
Yeah, and the Desolator just arrived at 12 minutes on this Templar Assassin, so we are seeing the fruits of the labor of Coddle. So at this point in the game, having this Desolator like allows you to farm so much faster with TA, allows you to take towers so much faster. Just I was talking about how quick the 13-minute was the other game we were watching. This is even faster. This Coddle is doing God's work.
Yeah, continuing to stack, continuing to help out the TA, and at this point, TA just so far ahead that this could be the snowball you were thinking about, and GGG inside the remnants, and well, he's okay.
Manages to make it out of that one, so quick TP to base, fuel up, get back into the fight. And that's now step up ones that you didn't use to take a tower with your lineup that you're wanting to play pretty aggressive. And I did say that I favor VC Gaming's lineup come the super late game just because of the Morphling, but I feel like if the game starts in VC Gaming's favor, shifts over to Invictus Gaming, and then it follows back to VC Gaming's favor once more. If that makes any sense to you.
So early game Vici, mid game IG, late game Vici. Nailed it.
The ramblings of an insane analyst.
The ramblings of 8 hours in of a late night cast. We all get there sometimes. Welcome to Chinese Dota.
We'll be fine.
We should be. One more series after this. Should hit about 10 hours of casting, which is great. I love this. As we see IG. Ooh, good ulti from the Coddle, but is it zoning enough to get the kill on the Tiny? As he'll try to run away, gets pulled back once again. Emo gets the kill, the Ignite on a couple of these heroes. X, boat? No, just the boat. And now the Stampede coming through. DY, Meld Strike, and another kill. That's a 1-2 punch, and potentially even more. GGG moving in and looking for Searing Chains as Paparazzi will morph in the Ember. They've got Searing Chains on a couple. JT needs to be careful. And, well, now they've got the X out onto this Ember. Who will Hex, Shackle, and take out.
That was such a sick dodge out of that Morphling right there, being able to avoid that Impale that came off the line with the Sleight of Fist from the Ember that he turned into. Awesome reaction by him. That's what I really like seeing out of both like Rubik players and Morphling players, is their ability to adapt to a scenario so quickly and take advantage of it and what they're given. You see it from like an Empress, where you think, oh, okay, that's normal. He dodged the Impale, but when you're thinking quick on your feet like that, just a lot more impressive to watch.
Yeah, overall doing a really good job, and PYW getting a kill mid. How do you kill this Ember? They happen to kill him off and have the Shackle and Serpent Wards ready to go, and with those Serpent Wards they get a tier 1 tower mid.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Blink Dagger up on the Tiny now. He gets in, gets the quick first disable into the Ember, allows Shadow Shaman to gap the distance, and then you bring him down.
And looking for more. DY in trouble. Hoof Stomp, Meld Strike, and the Finger. I missed that kill over mid on the Ember because Windows is trying to update right now. I don't know why it chose this timing, but come on, Microsoft, let's relax.
A little bit strange. If it was a bit earlier, I'd say it would make sense. Windows is trying to use the time that most people are asleep.
Yeah, definitely trying to use those early morning. But even at 7-1,000 net worth lead for Vici, is this starting to turn back in Vici's favor? Or are we just not seeing IG be aggressive enough?
I mean, we're starting to hit that mid-game point. Now Templar Assassin has that Blink Dagger and the Desolator. She has the damage, the gap closer that she needs. Centaur has the pipe and whatnot, so they're able to take these fights a little bit easier just because of the amount of magical damage that come out of VC. So we're starting to hit some of the important items for Invictus Gaming. Is this their ideal timing? No, not quite yet, but things are going to start to swing into their favor just because of the strength of this Templar Assassin and all the work that the Coddle has been putting in for her.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yang doesn't even get the creeps as they are glyphed as he tossed one up to try and kill off the creep wave, but look at IG just boosting in towards this bottom tier 1 tower. Boat will be used as well as the ulti from the Coddle. And they do get the kill on the Ollie, maybe even more. They need Shadow Shaman to get out of this, but he's pulled in thanks to the Ignis Fatius. And well, is this going to start to break down for IG? They've got a couple of heroes low here. GGG trying to get out. They'll also use the Stampede. Tidebringer does a lot of damage. They kill the TA. Paparazzi coming in and dominating as Emo falls.
They hesitated a little bit as they were escaping because TA is the last person they want to lose, but ultimately they realized there wasn't really much they could do to save her. They jump back into that fight, they just end up suiciding themselves. So, cut their losses, let the most valuable hero on their team die, but not really that much that they could have done there. Overall, pretty awesome fight for VC Gaming because, again, bringing down that TA at this point in the game is super important. It's going to be a little bit more difficult once she manages to finish up that BKB, but again, right now, they're at the point where if Templar Assassin isn't playing aggressive and pressing that advantage that she has, if she's farming right now instead, they're not using the most of their resources. And, by goes Kaka.
Kill. Yeah, you're going to start to see Tiny really come off here as he's got the Blink Dagger. He's going to Avalanche Toss and do a lot of damage to these supports that need to start being careful.
Yeah.
Emo, they got the scan here. Alright. I was questioning that decision for a moment. They knew he was there.
Buys this team a little bit of time, though. You have to be a little bit frustrated if you're a Lion there, though, getting picked off by the Tiny like that just a little bit before you start finish farming your Blink Dagger. Like, at that point, you don't really need to put yourself at risk like that, but Tiny took full advantage of that one.
Yeah, it's a bit tough to be in that situation, and we'll see how he approaches trying to get this Blink Dagger come the next few minutes. And Vici looking to keep their foot on the gas. Blink Dagger's picked up, and, well, ooh, Emo. He blinks back, and no charge from Vici.
Sam is going to go for Centaur War Run here, just a little bit short of his Blink Dagger as well. After that's done, I feel like we're going to see... After that and the BKB on the Templar Assassin, we're going to see Invictus Gaming starting to go full throttle in their aggression.
It almost feels like they are in a forced spot to make something happen in the moment.
Cool.
But we'll have to see.
This one I wouldn't go on if I was Centaur. And yeah, he does think better of it. Like, waiting at the side shop, deciding if he was going to farm up the passive gold for his Blink Dagger or not.
Blowing up Kaka again. Never even saw it coming. And again,
all the
Emo,
heroes.
they're coming close. I just feel like Vici are playing this so well.
Oh yeah. They're constantly identifying these kills on Kaka. I mean, Kaka's the one that you're most fine with losing. I was talking to you about Keeper of the Light in the other game that we saw him, how he was too far out. Though Keeper of the Light is in position 5 and Lion is in position 4, it's more important for the Keeper of the Light to stay alive so we can defend the base and have that bigger presence in the team fight. Lion is very important, but he's more so an aggressor rather than somebody who's able to stall out the game a little bit more, as Coddle is.
Oh, Blink, Hoof Stomp, Meld Strike, Ori in trouble. Kaka coming forward. Now the Stampede, Avalanche gonna completely lift, but they're thinking about turning back around.
Not sure this is what they want to do, especially given the fact that they just exhausted Stampede. And again, Still short of that BKB on Templar Assassin, so I think they're gonna play their cards right now and wait for that to come online.
Yeah, they could desperately use it.
Yep. There you go, BKB finished on Templar Assassin. Courier just needs to fly it out.
There it is. Finally picked up.
Dire's bottom tower is
See
under
if they
attack.
position themselves for a fight here at the bottom tier 1. They don't know this BKB is finished on Templar Assassin. This is the perfect time to take a fight.
Although if they were clicking the inventory, they would have seen it past the ward, so I wonder if they did spot it.
That is true, yeah. They're drawing out the lines on the map right now.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Again, this is go time for you on Invictus Gaming. You are at your strongest at the moment.
And here they come, Blink Hoof Stomp onto the Kunkka, but Avalanche followed up. There's the ulti from the Kato. BKBs are popped around the horn. Ori trying to survive and just getting away, but finally falls to Emo, who focuses all his attention and now needs to run because PYW's here with the Hex. Avalanche comes in from Yang. They've got the Shackle. They'll get the kill. It's a 2-for-1. No buyback. Actually, 2-for-2. Ogre bought back already. He'll stun up this Centaur. They'll get the kill. 3-for-2 in Vici's favor.
That is just so bad because this is the strongest you're going to be on Invictus Gaming. You got your BKB. You knew exactly what you were getting yourself into, but the entire duration of that for Templar Assassin, she was chasing down the Kunkka and couldn't quite get him. At the end, managed wasting the. I mean, they didn't get the Kunkka in the very end, but it exhausted the entire duration of her 10-second BKB. Just hexed her up and got her killed afterwards.
Yeah, Ollie going down easily there to Yang. Meanwhile, a little higher up, they'll get PYW, but it's a small cost to pay to get this tier 1 tower.
Absolutely. I feel like if you aren't able to take a fight in that scenario where you know you are that strong and you know what you're fighting into, Invictus, then when are you going to be able to take a fight?
Yeah, that's a bad showing and a bad foreshadowing for the fate of IG.
Still, they're going to do what they can. They're up for the bounty runes. They managed to get most of those.
X toss. And the boat's coming in. JT is in a lot of trouble. They'll miss the stun completely. Really uncharacteristic of Kaka there.
I think they're just starting to crumble at the moment. Given what they just went through, I mean, ideally they won that fight down at the bottom shrine. They take a tier 2 tower off it, they go to Roshan, and they take things from there, but nothing's going their way.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant structures are fortified.
X here.
Dire's
Go
top
way
tower
out and
has
away.
fallen.
And the Melt Strike follows him anyway.
The rune of illusion.
Decided to try and
Dire's
sneak
top
around the
tower
back
is
line.
under attack.
But Kunkka's the last target that you want to go on. They see Kunkka, they've scouted it out, but you don't want to go on him.
Yeah, they've got the Hex. They'll throw the stun. They've killed off JT, and now the ulti from the Kato allows them to take out this Ogre. What else are you getting? You've bought back now on the Centaur, and you have to get him. And you don't. You will get the Shadow Shaman, but is that consolation prize worth it?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's it. You managed to get 2 support heroes, you end up blowing buyback on your Centaur, and these ganks are getting more and more desperate. I mean, all they could find there was the Kunkka. I feel like this is a combination of just like such good positioning for Vici Gaming and
Yeah,
desperation.
Morphling might be in trouble, but the Avalanche toss on the backline to kill Kaka. Pop the E-Blade, and now wait for him to retreat. Again, they don't kill him. And they're looking for
Yang.
Yang. Boat, BKB. And Tiny now should be fine for a little bit, but I say that and so much damage is being done by Emo. His BKB is gone. Oh, Shackle on this Ember. And they are trying to get the kill on the Firefly. They'll have the Hex to follow it up, and they will have the damage. He doesn't have buyback.
Fortunately, Vici Gaming doesn't know that yet, but the Centaur doesn't have buyback either, and they're going to probably want to take advantage of that in some way, whether it be Roshan or pushing the towers. And I'm thinking it'll probably be Roshan as they all group up to do this shrine. A lot more trouble doing it than the TA does, but they're really in no position to stop them from doing Roshan with the Will-O-Wisp still 20 seconds on cooldown. And alright, I eat my words.
Hex.
Extremely aggressive blink.
Ollie needs to run. He'll throw a sentry down. DY continuing forward. Has a stun. They're trying to find the blind Torrent, and now there's Bloodlust. Trying to catch up with Ollie. They've seen him go into the trees, so he'll try to TP out, but there's the Hex and the X. And the kill. Oh! Finger almost gets PYW.
A good attempt. But you had to going down in the keeper life. Thankfully, he does have buyback, and at that point, they decide, okay, we can do Roshan, or somebody pings it at least. But I think that that person's voice is one of the less important on the team as they split up and farm the jungle. Decide that just the coddle being down isn't enough, so decide to play it safe.
I think you could go for Roche, but a second pickoff would be nice, and they might be able to find it. Lion back into the hands of Vici, and very dead.
And again, just not able to do anything on Invictus Gaming. I mean, sure, you can't really take Roche off of that. The spawn timers are so low for the Coddle and the Lion that when one is down, the other one is back up, but it just tipping the gold advantage further in the favor of VC. And I told you, the later and later this gets turned off, the bigger advantage VC is going to have.
TA, Divine Rapier queued up next. I'm down.
Did manage to finish Daedalus under our noses, but I'm not sure.
Remnant over. Let's see what they can get. It's Shadow Shaman for now. No buyback. Dead for 90. Ogre next. And they want a little bit of more.
Did manage to get 2 kills there, but again, just on the support heroes. I'd really like to see this TA building Divine Rapier. I'm just not sure it's going to be happening, or if it's going to be a good decision.
Avalanche on a 3. They'll throw the boat. Emo coming forward. BKB's going to be popped, and what can they get out of this? They need to get rid of that Will-O-Wisp. Fly. GGG coming over, trying to get the kill on the Yang. They've taken out JT. Look how tanky Yang is. And GGG trying to remnant out. As, Lion trying to do something here. Morphling not surviving this. And dead for 80. Emo, big kill there.
Yeah, managed to bring him down. He doesn't have buyback, so they could take a Roche off of this. They could get them back to the game for a little while, potentially. TA, one of the better heroes for taking that, just needs to load up 2 meld strikes on him. That's exactly what they decide to do.
He ditched the pit.
Yeah, doesn't quite have the time to be able to do that. Kunkka boat already off cooldown. One of the more powerful teams fight spells for taking a Roche fight.
They don't have Morphling, however. And this could be a time for them to fight. They look for DY, and again, Avalanche toss, Serpent Wards with the Shackle, and GGG somehow survives. Somehow gets out of this one. They'll Stampede to try and run away. JT dusted up, shackled up, tossed up. Not dead, but Emo gets the kill on a PYW after they take out JT and Kaka.
Just missing with that torrent onto the Templar Assassin, but we're going to continue to try and pursue. Ember Spirit is looking pretty low as well. His TP's still on cooldown, so we can't get out of this quite yet.
Yeah, and Paparazzi's finally here. E-Blade follows.
Just
But
dodge up the BKB.
and they cannot catch up.
Just try. Does miss the slight searing chains onto the Ember Spirit with the Ember Spirit.
Now I wonder if they're going to attempt to go for Roche.
They might. I still feel like it's kind of dangerous to them. It'd be a little bit offbeat for them to attempt to Roche in a situation like this, given the fact that I think they had more of an opportunity to earlier and decided not to do it. Opera smoke instead.
We'll see if the smoke is straight Roche or a fight around the pit.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kato in a decent spot.
Radiant's middle tower
Smoke's
has
gonna
fallen.
break, blink forward, searing chains, and they got the stun. Bloodlust is used, Morphling moving forward, Sleight of Fist, searing chains as he morphs into the Ember. Haven't made a move yet. Neither team really has heavily committed, but as I say that, the Finger and the Meld Strike, they do get one kill onto the Tiny, the tankiest of the bunch. And they look over at the Ogre. They'll find the stun, they'll throw the boat, try and keep him alive. But IG are ready for this, and we'll take out a second.
So I think they just decided to cut their losses on VC Gaming. Said get back. Might have to give up this Roche after all.
They're trying. They've got the Will-Wisp. BKB's gonna be popped. Let's see what they can get. JT falls and PYW surviving. Meanwhile, they get the kill onto Kaka. And they've disarmed the TA. They bought back on the Ogre. The damage! Oh! Woo!
That's the big damage exactly when you need a Morphling down without buyback as well. Now this TA is just getting insane crits exactly when she needs them.
Radiant's middle
I'm not
tower
sure they
is
realize
under
that the Morphling doesn't have buyback. They can do some significant damage here. In fact, I think they could take a set of racks. But I think they're going to decide to opt for Roche instead, a little bit of a safer option. The Morphling does have buyback. They don't get that racks after all, so.
Well, they will
Roshan,
get
they
the
go.
Aegis, and that could be Divine Rapier as well. That means you can commit for it, having that second life.
We are seeing a Divine Rapier. It's here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Right, how often do we see Divine Rapiers in the Chinese Dota?
You know, I feel like it's just as often as any other region.
Radiant's middle tower.
Pretty
has fallen.
rare, not completely unreasonable though.
Radiant's middle tower.
There's
is
a
under
clip
attack.
I had once upon a
Radiant
time of
structures
Sylar
are fortified.
as Weaver going to pick up a rapier at the secret shop, immediately getting hit with a double ravage, losing it and calling GG.
That's a good one.
Just immediately Vici Thunder, you lose.
Illusion.
It was
It's gonna be an
unfortunate.
interesting abate with the illusion here. They decide to do something creative with it. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm not sure why the
Radiant's top tower is
TA would
under
send the
attack.
illusion out like that, because if anything, that just reveals that Templar Assassin does in fact have a Divine Rapier. If they click the illusion.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Smoke comes out. They move forward. BKBs are popped. They've got the Finger, and from there they two-shot the Tiny. They look over at the Morphling, and let's see what they can get. The Shackle comes through onto the high ground. The stun from the low ground is from the Lion, and now the Will-O-Wisp.
Radiant's
Holding them close. BKBs are popped, and they will, in fact, lose PYW, but they might be able to take out the Ember, and they will. Dead for 99. Not exactly going entirely to plan.
I mean, fortunately, you don't lose Templar Assassin, Aegis, or the actual hero, but Ember Spirit going down is a pretty significant loss for them. If they can lock down that Templar Assassin, that means their only real damage dealer in this upcoming fight is out of commission. So I'm not sure they should take this without the Ember Spirit. Just gives them too much room to maneuver on VC Gaming. They can hold down that one DPS, and they do have a lot of lockdown on their side. Backing off would be what I would do right now. And looks like it's exactly what they're doing. But they have managed to turn this around with, I guess, a couple really good crits from the Templar Assassin. A little bit better positioning than they had in the earlier game. Like BC Gaming just starting to crack into this pressure. Maybe the Tiny needs a Ghost Scepter or something like that. Morphling's been getting blown up quite a bit too. I feel like it's been a while since he's had any real item progression. But the last couple minutes of the game dead.
They smoke up. Trying to find what they can. Ember will be back alive. Emo now with double damage. As if it were perfect timing.
Not even sure he needs this kind of damage, but he has it anyway. Shrines, unfortunately, are not open for him to attack, or we'd see just what he can do.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
8 hits on the tower to bring it down.
Works out.
Chunking away at it.
Literally. And looking for another opportunity to go in. So they've disarmed him. The BKB's gonna be popped. They've also got the stun coming out from Kaka. Finger thrown. Nobody dead. Avalanche toss, and just getting away is the line from the hands of the Tiny. The searing chains onto the Ember, and well, nobody
getting that disarm off
so.
on the Templar Assassin just before she managed to pop that BKB, wasting the duration of it was huge for VC Gaming right there. So, nice reaction by them. A moment later, that Templar Assassin probably would have went to town on your team, killed 1 or 2 heroes.
Dire's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Blessings.
So, kind of on edge for both teams. Have the Aegis for a little bit longer. Literally, not that long.
Literally not that long.
Literally seconds.
So Aegis is gone. TA a lot more susceptible to being taken down. Do have the refresher orb up on the Templar Assassin now, which allows you to use this Black King bar. Still have to be pretty careful with popping that as you go in, though. But double the duration of that Black King bar could be what they need in order to turn these fights, or just get a little bit more.
What does a Morphling have going into a Mantis style? It seems like a late Mantis style.
Yeah, he really hasn't made any item progression in the last, like, 10 minutes, unfortunately. He's killed, I think, twice or 3 times in a row, and then he's been a lot more careful with his farming after that. Really watching where he's going. So he's way behind where you want to be right now on a thing. Templar Assassin sitting almost 10k net worth ahead of him.
Gathering up. Let's see what they're able to do. Here comes GGG. And this courier does not have a smoke. The Anodisk will be popped. Not made an aggressive move yet.
I always want to know where that Templar Assassin is when they go in on these fights. He's just been the death of them again and again. So, realize don't need to care that much about the other heroes on their team. Not looking to take any fights right now. If you don't know where that Templar Assassin is. Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming completely fine waiting for the next Roshan to spawn.
Should be Aegis Cheese and Ags, right? Or a refresher charge.
No, I think this is the second Roshan actually.
Only a second? I feel like we've had like 10.
They've tried like 10. We are pretty deep into this casting marathon though, so we could both be delusional.
Radiant are scanning.
It's entirely possible. 7,000 net worth lead, Kunkka. What do you got for me? Got a Crystallis, AC, BKB, Morphling meanwhile. Still trying for the Scotty.
Alright, this is a very quick Roshan. About 7 seconds after the timer, and there you go. He just a cheese. So we've only seen one Roshan this whole game. Felt like it has felt like there's been quite a few.
Surprisingly enough, we've only seen one, and well, let's see what's next.
Really want this Roshan, Aegis of the Immortal on the Templar. You have to know something's up, but I'm not sure they realize it'll respawn this quickly.
Nobody there to check, which is the surprising part. You kept your spot near the Roche pit the entire time, and now all of a sudden you just kind of let it go.
They had to have realized that's what they were going to be, though, or that's what they were going to be soon, if not. Rotating to the jungle now, trying to find if anybody's farming. Unfortunately, I think we passed that point in the game. We're only at 44 minutes, but it feels like we're at 60 plus, just because of the presence of that Divine Rapier. Nobody willing to get caught out by themselves.
Yeah, it just has slowed down immensely. It felt like such a fast-paced game to start this off, and the longer we've gone on, the slower it's become.
Money changes hands.
And it's just that unwillingness to be caught out.
Yep. They might even, if you're Vici Gaming, you might even try and stall as long as possible, wait for that Aegis to expire. Not let them have the advantage. So, and again, Invictus Gaming aren't looking to really break the high ground. All the Raxes are still up, all the tier 3s are still up with quite a bit HP.
Feel as if QIW dead here, hexed up and killed. I feel as if IG are almost a bit overly cautious.
And you saw what VC Gaming was doing to them all of this game, all of last game for that matter.
Trap placed down. There's the smoke. Trying to make an aggressive play. Remnant over. That's going to land in between two of these heroes. The BKB is going to be Popeye Ori as well as GCG. They'll dust. Remnant away, and they're not committing to this. But the Waveform, E-Blade, Avalanche coming through. They've got the X. They'll line it up with the Torrent, but the Force Staff away. Still nobody dead. They'll throw a tree over at JT, and, well, everybody's backing away.
Nobody willing to take that big of a risk on either side.
Swiftly to the temple's defense.
Being super cautious with that Rapier still, despite having the Aegis. Makes sense though.
Radiant are scanning.
7 slotted now on the Templar Assassin.
So again, just waiting for an opportunity, and this is it. It might be it. Hoof stomp, double edge, finger comes in. Kunkka's still alive. Avalanche toss takes out the line. He's going to be dead for 95 seconds with buyback and will immediately use it. BKB's ward popped around the horn, and now they're going with the shackle all the way on this. Ember's in so much trouble and will be dead. 100 seconds has buyback. TA just not committing.
TA just went in for the duration of the BKB, popped their fresher, BKB'd again. When he wasn't able to secure any kills, that immediately got out. He's playing super careful with this rapier, despite having the Aegis of the Immortal.
Almost overly cautious.
Almost, yeah. I mean, at that point, I would agree with you. He just tried to go onto the Kunkka, but the Kunkka's reaction with that Heaven's Halberd for, like, before the Templar Assassin can pop that BKB is so good. I feel almost like Templar just needs to accept that you need to pop that BKB before you jump in and not after. Because this isn't the first time that this has happened.
You paused. Shadow Shaman.
Pause at the moment. Not a lot of information given to us. Reason for this.
I just thought maybe somebody would disconnect.
Both teams probably a little bit stressed at the moment. Especially after a fight like that. Templar Assassin probably saw life flash before her eyes.
Alright, no real information. Morphling looking towards Butterfly, Kunkka the Shivas. And Emo tail between his legs and not looking to fight yet.
I do like Butterfly quite a bit here. Again, it's going to be helping you quite a bit against the Rapier. Templar Assassin no longer has room for an MKB inside her inventory either, so it's keeping Kunkka alive a lot more against the Rapier too.
Illusion.
That Heaven's Halberd. Be a little bit cheeky down here on the. Oh
Man, this could be a problem. They might have found someone, and well, it is the Coddle.
Unfortunately, he does manage to get some wards up there. I'm not sure how helpful those are going to be as the game progresses, but you never know. These could be the ones that win his team the game. Meanwhile, Templar Assassin playing Trapdoor Spider Dota.
Pretty much hoping to find someone and get a pick off, and well,
You are
Kunkka
moving.
by himself.
He knows that's not gonna work. But everybody else on Vici Gaming is just playing so tight together. They're afraid of that Templar Assassin. Why wouldn't they be? It just does expire. I was talking about this earlier. The fact that Vici Gaming is probably happy to just wait out the duration of this. But looking towards the future, what do you want to do next on the side of Vici Gaming? Do you take a fight right now while you know the Aegis is gone? Do you wait to take a fight in the next Roche? I feel like just the Stampede and the Aghanim Scepter. Or it doesn't have an Aghanim Scepter. I'm going crazy, confusing this game with the last one. The Stampede and the Will-O-Wisp from the Keeper of the Light are just too powerful inside the Roche pit. Not sure they're going to be able to take a fight against those two things.
My waters rise.
See when Roche is back up at least 2 minutes.
Double damage. Comforting rune of regeneration.
Just trying to find an opportunity to go in, of course, and well, both teams are looking for that. TA trying to find a little bit of confidence, I would say. You know, not entirely a knock against the TA. Like, I get it, but you bought this Divine Rapier for a reason. You've had Aegis twice with it and haven't used it with either.
I mean, he's gotten a couple kills, but they've been very, very safe kills. Considering the amount of kills she was getting before, though, you could almost argue that the Rapier has been hindering her performance.
It is almost what it feels like.
Radiant are scanning.
interesting positioning by these two teams. Do you have the
Coming
advantage right
around
now?
the back, they've got the Hex, the Melon Strike comes in, is it going to be enough? The Finger's thrown, but still not enough damage to kill off this Tiny. They've got the Blink, the Hoof Stomp, BKB is going to be popped as well as the Melon Strike, trying to find a victim here with anything, but TA's just dead! Blown up, Divine Rapier on the deck! Oh, wow! It's still there. Surrounded by Serpent Wards, and finally picked up by this Morphling. What did the damage so quickly? Ogre and Shadow Shaman getting a lot of XP there. The damage being done. Did they just blow him up with the shotgun builds here from the Morphling?
I mean, the majority of that was, yeah, the shotgun didn't come out onto the Templar Assassin, actually. Okay. The Ethereal Blade went onto the Tiny at the start of that fight to save him from the Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin didn't manage to get the Refresher Orb off, but swapped it into her inventory. So she ended up going down before that second BKB charge happened. I think it was just like the raw amount of damage and right-click from the Morphling, just blowing her up so fast. But yeah, that E-Blade was a pretty crucial part of that team fight in the way of saving Tiny and kind of stalling the duration of Templar Assassin's Black Keybar.
About 2 minutes till the next Roche. Divine Rapier, do we all just start playing scared? Is that the question? Is Morphling going to go for it?
BG are probably going to want to take a page from Invictus Gaming's book. Wait for this next Roshan, Fresher Shard, or Aghanim Scepter possibly coming with it. So they'll be even better placed than Invictus Gaming was.
Buybacks here. TA 6 minutes. Lion a minute and a half and 30 seconds till the Shadow Shaman's got it. About a minute till we've got Roshop.
Neither teams know that yet. They just know it's going to be a somewhat later Roshan.
Question is, can you force the issue here if you're IG? Do you feel comfortable enough forcing the issue?
He's fortunate that was a haste rune. It was a very fast chicken.
To get 4-staffed like that, he went through the gauntlet and survived. I don't know if you've seen the American show Wipeout, but that seemed like that was a level. And they're just sitting by this Roche pit. 6 seconds. Is it going to be Ags? That's what I want to see.
I want Shiro.
I don't know, but it's not going to matter. It's Refresher Shard, Avalanche Toss, and it's going to be Pop Blink. Hoofstomp comes in on 2 heroes. Here's the Remnant. And now they've got the Will-O-Wisp. Damage coming through with the Nullifier. 4-step back and forth and back and forth. The BKBs have been popped. The Serpent Wards are placed out, and the Morphling's still not dead. Waveform over, trying to do some damage to get kills here on the side of IG, but the Remnant away again from GGG. Look how far these shackles are. Hoofstomp comes in. They kill the TA, who doesn't have buyback, dead for 2 minutes, and, well, Centaur trying to survive. Eats, I believe, the cheese, and a Remnant away once again. After all that, only 1 death, but Morphling sitting a little bit low as he's trying to get out of this engagement with Ori. Meanwhile, back inside the engagement, JT goes down.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Morphling deciding to opt to probably teleport back to base. I was going to say buy boots of travel, but the Xbox spot is there.
Oh
by
boy.
himself. He'll himself up and he's ready to go with full HP again. Templar Assassin having no buyback. Centaur does have a buyback, fortunately, but I'm not sure they have what they need to win this fight. Buyback already expended on the Ember Spirit.
Back so soon?
So back to the high ground we go. They've got the Hex, but they don't have the ulti from this Kato. They have it from the Lion, who has 5 stacks.
But they are deciding
Hex
to go
through
for it.
onto the Ember, who has to be careful. Blink Hoofstomp on a couple, but look at that boat. destroying JT. The fleet comes in. He's already dead. They'll look over at Kaka. He'll fall as well. He'll buy back. Shackle through under the Ember as well as the Fire Blast. They'll get the kill there. Dead for 2 minutes. That should just be GG. And there it is. So 2-0 for Vici.
Incredible. Incredibly slow-paced game there, as it would allow. I mean, they picked up that rapier at last ditch attempt, realizing as the game progressed further and further, it was slipping out of their hands. Tried to do something about it, but I feel like after they picked it up, they just lacked the aggression that needed to come with that rapier. They may have had it if they were a little more forward playing with it.
Yeah, rapier potentially the wrong the wrong move here. Which
I mean, if
sounds
you're gonna
nuts.
go for something, yeah. If you're gonna go for something like that, I feel like you need to play aggressive with it. Like, it's an aggressive item.
Yeah, you have to play aggressive. You have to make it work. You can't just continue to let that item sit. And that's exactly what the TA did, and ultimately what ended up with them losing. You take a look at this graph. They did have it in their hands, up 10,000 net worth, lose the rapier, down 20,000 net worth. Vici, at the end of the day, they eat through that rapier that was on the TA, finally finishes the game on the Morphling. And, well, Vici take the series 2-0, which leads us to the last series of the day. eHome versus Look for Smile. Singular. We'll be back with that in just a moment. Meanwhile, well, the bracket right now is Look for Smile, Vici, eHome, IG, Sirius. So we'll be back with that in just a moment. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in a little bit.